Good night and welcome to Mindful Live. What are we on? 422. Welcome. Thank you for being here. It is currently the 5th of the 8th month. 5 days into August. The second month named after Julius Augustus Caesar. When you're that big, you have 2 months of the year named after only you. Imagine that. Welcome. I am your co-host, Nathan Springer. I was briefly joined by the host until she made her swift exit. As you know, she does her own thing on the regular. But nonetheless, welcome. Once you're inside, make sure you hit that like button. Double tap the screen over there on TikTok. Hit the like button if you're viewing this on YouTube. Ronnie says, can't wait to make my children, force them to show Trinidad and Tobago how to go get that go. So in short, what you're telling me is your plan is to make children and plot them for the Olympics from now. One time. Straight to the Olympics. That's the mission we're going for right now. The Jamaicans meet Mother Corn Hawks in this Olympics. Well, to be honest, I don't know all that's going on, but I was disappointed. Because I watched the heat and I'm letting y'all know Shelly-Ann was comfortably taking that goal again. Sha'Carri had nothing. Shelly-Ann was going with the goal again. I am very upset. I would like a global investigation to be launched. Like seriously, what exactly went on there that they robbed Sister Shelly of her last goal? Because she's not going to come back to our next Olympics. I feel in 4 years she might take it again because I just feel speed inside the lady genetics. But I don't think she cares to come back to our next Olympics. So who robbed my sister of her last goal? I am upset. Now, but better St. Lucia get it though? No. St. Lucia would have gotten silver, and Shelly would have hugged her and handed on the baton of Caribbean running to her for the next 4 years. Sha'Carri was supposed to be on the 3rd podium or something. We still have these arrogant Americans, them still standing next to us there. Well, Kerry Trim, what kind of nonsense you're talking about? You don't know Dar. From the time you spell Dar, D-A-R, discontinue. Ignore. Shelly-Ann was taking that. Shelly-Ann was easily taking that. Look at the heat. Look at her in the heat, and you would see that was easy. Easy stuff. But you know how it goes sometimes. You know, Nathan, pet peeve is spelling mistake. The male 100-meter finals was a robbery. I'm telling you all to be very frank, I didn't watch that. I haven't been very faithful on this Olympics. I just saw the photo finish, and I was like, I don't want to be the person that has to decide who won that race. But for me, and you know, the arrogant Americans, they have a grating on my nerve. For this guy to have a photo finish where everybody looks about the same, and then you run off there like, you know, you are the fastest man. You just beat Usain Bolt record, and the world now crowns you as the fastest man ever. Like, bro. Rest us on that. I don't find that makes sense. Hello, host.
If you have something, I could try to create something.
What's playing in my background? My host climbed under the bed. Right. The host went searching for her toys. Yeah, so I don't know at what point in time the guy feels like, you know, he's the king of the 100 meter when you have a photo finish like that. But I think some of the tone and tenor of the whole Olympics has dulled the desire some people have for it. Like the controversy around who might or might not be a male or not. That kind of stuff. It has a racial undertone to this whole Olympics. I don't know if I'd say a racial undertone, just a political undertone. There's a political undertone, and politics in the Western world is racial and has been racial for a while now. I think to the detriment of most countries, and I don't think that the countries will benefit from leaning into the racial politics like the United Kingdom is finding out now. The idea that you attempt to use white supremacy as your beating tool for all Western civilization and politics, I think that's a bad idea, because there are a lot of white people, and you know, all of them won't be happy with it. I won't say racial either, Ronnie. I won't say racial. That's why I'd say political. I don't think there was a racial undertone at all. And it's not a surprise that it's political, because everything is becoming political to some extent. So every issue, people try to figure out what would be the political angle for this and which side my political side is on. So I must gravitate to that side. So okay, this is an issue of an alleged male boxing in the Olympics. Well, what side should I take? Well, the right wing side is that side. That's my side. I go and I stand on that side regardless. I'll call the person transgender, even though this isn't exactly an issue of transgenderism. It's a biological anomaly issue. But no, I'll call them whatever needs be, because that's my side. My side, and that's the problem with politics. And to some extent, that's when politics becomes full-on entertainment, which granted, that's what I'm doing to some extent here. But when the political enters that sphere where it's everything, the political sphere is encompassing everything, well then everything becomes political. The religion becomes political, the sporting world becomes political. It's ridiculous. I saw the American guy who won the 100 meter by the photo finish. He had on nail polish apparently. And Dwayne Wade, the American basketballer who became further famous for his sonnish doing the whole switcheroo business, he posted that and you know, like, so what, you all look, a guy was running with nail polish now. Since when 100 meter became such a statement thing? But I guess in a sense it may have always been, what was his name? Jesse Owens, was it? In the Hitler Olympics, where he went and blew them out and threw up the fist. So I mean, there is to some extent precedent, I suppose. The opening ceremony told us all that we needed to know. The opening ceremony did tell us a lot. And it did to me, it did set the stage for what was to come. And showed the kind of political affiliations that you'd see coming from it. Aside of that was the obviousness of Last Supper representation. It's obvious, pretty obvious. And then people attempt to deny it. And I'm like, but why would you deny it? And the same people who are denying it are the same people who would say that nothing is wrong with the mockery too. So like, what are you even doing? Why are you pretending like you're denying this, like you have a problem with it? You don't really have a problem with it. So why deny it? Well, it was all political. Alright, let's see if we can jump into some of our local news. The Olympics is and has always been a platform for making statements. That's what I said. To be honest, it kind of always has been to some extent a platform for that. But the thing is, more things have come into the political fray now. Things that once were not necessarily in such a political statement, they are now a political statement. Whether you are a man or a woman wasn't a political statement. The idea of whether a man should be able to fight a woman in a sport game was never a political thing. Whether you should, by and large, mock main religions in a public sporting event generally wasn't a political thing. Those things were left for the niche and unique and out on the edges kind of thing. But when everything has become political now, it all comes in. Alas. C'est la vie. But let's jump into some local news. A foreign investor recently decided that this Trini Bacchanal is too much Bacchanal for me. I can't deal with it. Miss me on the Trini Bacchanal, I'm out. UNC unremorseful about its role in Petrotrin Petrotrin deal. Let's get that a little wider. UNC unremorseful about their rolling crashed Petrotrin deal. It's interesting because one of the things that we always speak about in Trinidad and Tobago is getting that juicy foreign investment, you know. And then many people also lament about Petrotrin being closed and why was Petrotrin closed? What could have been if Petrotrin remained open? Well, this may have been an opportunity for both of those things all at the same time. But the UNC said no. The United National Congress will not apologize for its purported role in in dissuading Indian industrialist Naveen Jindal from investing in the mothballed Petrotrain oil refinery. Speaking at the party's weekly press briefing at its headquarters in Shogunas yesterday, opposition Senator Wade Mack dismissed criticism from the Prime Minister over questions it had raised about Jindal after he visited TNT to hold discussions over the refinery in June. Mack's comments on the issue came hours after Rowley revealed that Jindal, chairman of Jindal Steel and Power Limited, had withdrawn his interest allegedly due to attacks on him by the opposition. Rowley made the revelation at the PNM's Diego Martin West constituency conference on Friday. Mack claimed the opposition was simply performing its duty when it raised concerns over Jindal facing corruption and money laundering charges in India, alleging that he bribed a government minister for coal mining concessions. It is our duty and responsibility as the opposition and the alternative government and the government in waiting to raise issues surrounding the public interest, Mack said. Blessings jiggles. And, you know, he's right. He is right. That is the opposition's duty. The opposition's duty is to raise the questions that they think the government may have left out, may have overlooked, may have bypassed. That is their duty. Now, I think how you go at that duty when you're dealing with something like foreign investment is very important, because you do not want it to be that you are attempting to push foreign investment away from your country. That wouldn't make sense now, would it? It should be that you're just trying to, make sure that the foreign investment works well. For the culture, says Big Man Thing, I feel Philip would be a good opposition in it. Actually, yes. For the culture, I do believe that. I think Philip might actually make a very good opposition, better than the current opposition we have. Because he seems like he partially... Ria is you? New profile? He seems like he at least partially researches the topics more. Our current opposition, to me, is lazy. To me, they're lazy. So yeah, I think he would make a good opposition. And the issue to me with the Jindal business is just, if you're highlighting that the man has charges, that's one. But to attempt to impute motives automatically on someone with charges is pretending you don't understand how those systems work. And I hear UNC loyalists say that why is it that the PNM must always work with all these people with questionable names and so on and so on and so on. And I'm like, these people they must be blinded by their loyalty, because UNC was the party that went into a deal with OAS, the company in Brazil that was already fingered in corruption allegations, and by the time the UNC finished, the company was folded up on legal issues. So UNC supporters should bat in their crease when they talk about this government only going with people with suspicious records. You need to bat in your crease. And then to me, you also need to hold in your mind the reality that nearly any multinational company is going to have ticks and asterisks next to their name. That's the nature of global business. Like, find me a billionaire who has no allegations of any kind of trade impropriety. Find me a multinational company with over $1 billion in assets where there are no allegations that they did something wrong. And in this case, there are charges the man has to face, but he hasn't been found guilty yet. for the culture says, but this is why we must vote them both out. But that's not actually how it works for the culture. There is no voting out of parties. We vote in someone. So we could vote against them, yes, but to vote against them, we have to vote in someone. So when we vote them both out, who is the person we're voting in exchange for both of them exactly? Who is that? Who do you think we would prefer? We would want in preference? Because I don't know. I don't think I have someone in mind. Nathan Springer. That's not how it works, unfortunately. Autopilot, Dalip says, you know, I might not mind autopilot, but the reality about autopilot is that somebody is going to take control while you believe it's autopiloting. But here's the issue for the culture. I see no reason to believe that any of those names are going to put us in a better position than those who we have right now. What do we have to prove that they would be better? And I am not, to me, it's youthful ignorance and arrogance. It's the hubris of youth to believe that we could just toy with civilization and throw anyone in there and they will obviously be somebody better. That's the hubris of youth, not understanding that there are many more ways for this whole experiment to go crashing down horribly wrong, with everybody dying and suffering all along the way, than for it to continue even limping around. For the culture says, nah, I'd rather give someone else a try than see these people continue to flush us down the drain. Again, for the culture, I think that's the hubris of youth. Give someone a try. This is not a snow cone that we're making where, you know, they might make a little bad flavor, but so what? This is the kind of thing where a country could end up suffering in flames, smoldering by the end. And those, we have the normalcy bias because things have always been how things are in our life, so we think that's how it's always going to be. You think we can get worse than this? Fire flame, fire flame, fire flame. What are you asking, fire flame? Like, what are you asking? What do you mean if we could get worse than fire flame? Have you no imagination? Have you no knowledge of history? What do you mean if we could get worse than this? Venezuela wasn't always where Venezuela is. There was once upon a time Venezuela was the pearl of the Western Hemisphere of South America. They aren't anymore. Cuba was flying very high at a time. Now, the vast majority of people who live in Cuba wouldn't be saying it's a good time to live there. Haiti, first country to get independence. No one wants to go to Haiti right now. Things can change. Like, they're not doing a good job for people who experience. I don't disagree with you that they aren't doing a good job. This is the whole predicament I'm saying. I agree that they aren't doing a good job, but I am not of the belief that we could just kick them out and slap anybody in there and anybody is going to do at least a different job that will be better. No, I am not of that belief, because that is not true. The French tried that during the French Revolution. They had their royalty there, and their royalty was pesting them, sucking out the resources, having exorbitant parties, wasting and flittering away the French largesse. What are we to do? Kill them all and just get the professionals in to do the job. The professionals just killed each other all, turned the whole French land into a murderous, mad, mayhem, chaotic business where Napoleon, an authoritarian, had to make was able to make the rise eventually out of that anyway. So, what benefit was it? That's what we're saying. All right. So we're upset the way things are going now. So let's topple our whole country and make suffering for the next 120 years because we don't like how things are going now. Sounds like a plan. That's youthful ignorance. How have any of these people shown us that they will be even remotely better than who are there now? It's the Kamala business that I'm looking at over in the United States. Kamala is having an upswing. She is having a popular boost. People are saying, yes, this is who we want. Without one policy statement. It's all vibes. Joe Biden was old. Trump is old. Kamala will be a younger one, so she will automatically be better. Bear in mind, she's 60. Like, what, how, why? Give me something logical. I'm not just going to float on the vibes of it. Yes, I agree with you. The two that we have in place here in our country, not doing too good. I don't like them. I would prefer someone better. Can you show me someone better? Or is it just vibes? We fed up with them, so we might as well try somebody new now, boy. I'm not that vibes. I'm not. There's a reason statements like better the devil you know than the devil you don't became popular. Then, well, we will never know until they try. PNM nor UNC can be better. Well, we'll never know unless they try. I think we would know. Like, the PDP with Mr. Duke, I think we know. And I am very afraid. Very. APP with Kezel, from what I've seen thus far, I am petrified. No way. Pep, if you think Dr. Rowley is too aggressive with the Rottweiler reputation, well, how could you? You heard I have a lot of Venos working for me? Balda, where you come from? You heard wrong. Who would you consider to replace the present opposition leader? In terms of if there was a party replacement, or in terms of inside the UNC? Inside the UNC, like, to me, it would have been interesting if Michaela, but the UNC doesn't allow for that. But if Michaela was able to come up inside of the UNC and maybe she replaced Kamala, that may have been an interesting replacement. And that way we'd have been able to see what she offers, what her ideas are, her style of governing in the UNC and in the opposition. What do you think about Mr. Philip and the PP? Yeah. Nah. I think Mr. Philip, people need to remember where he was before. And I struggle to take seriously politicians who seem to create their own party out of sour grapes. It's not that I believe in something, so I go and start this to attempt to create this. No, I was part of something, they kicked me out, and I tried that. Because I would struggle to believe that you believe something different from these people. if you were with Group X and you never left Group X kicked you out, and now you formed Group Y, and you say your Group Y is opposed to everything that X represents, I will struggle to believe you. What wrong with Uncle Gary? Uncle Gary it seems like a man very intent on ambition. And I mean, I guess that's what being a politician necessitates, some level of ambition. But he seems like a man serious about it. The fact that, let me see what you're saying there. The fact that Michaela isn't associated with that of the UNC when we've established the UNC, ain't it? Isn't a plus? No, it's not a plus for me, Rhea, because I don't think she's not associated with the UNC in terms of ideologically. The UNC, if the UNC was able to get rid of Kamala Prasad Bisesa and open the invite to Michaela, I think she would go back there. I have never heard her espouse any ideological differences to the UNC's platform. So it's not like she said, I don't believe in what the UNC as a foundational group believe in, so I will go opposing to that. It's just that she doesn't get along with the current people inside of the party. So I don't know if I'll say she's opposed to the UNC per se. The fact that no one has stood up for betterment or that people in UNC allowed it to become this bad, yeah, nah, even in the PNM. People spineless. I don't think it's in her best interest to go back either, Jiggles. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that I think she should go back. I was talking about if in a vacuum, if I could have plucked out someone and placed someone there that would have been better for the UNC as a party, I think she would be that person. I'm not saying that if I were to give her advice as an individual, that's what I'd see at all. And why, Mr. Nibble says, why have a government if they're not fighting crime? Look at what El Salvador is doing. Well, that's what Dr. Rowley said back in 2010 or 2011. If the government is unable to stop the crime, then they are part of the problem. So, good question, I guess, in that sense. But Ronnie, the nature of the political system is it encourages people to be that kind of spineless tool because that's how you make your way up. That's how you make your way up. You have to pay your dues. You have to be loyal as you go out, as you go on up. And if you aren't loyal, then you won't ever reach the top. And the reason we can't do, and I've said this before, the reason we can't do what El Salvador did is because our legal system is set up differently from El Salvador's. Our prime minister doesn't have the same power as El Salvador's president. So he isn't able to just on a dime switch things like that. He isn't able to control the country's highest court. He isn't able to just get extrajudicial powers passed through like that. It's not the same place. Here's an interesting story though. On Trinidad's economy, as I saw someone said this. Economist Mala Dukaran on errors and omissions in TNT's balance of payments. TNT loses US $25 billion in 12 years.